This video contains gratuitous use of profanity and uncomfortable pauses to compensate for lack of professionalism and original thought. Viewer discretion advised.
The wrestling podcast that sets all other podcasts apart. Covering news from the world of WWE, AEW, TNA, and more. Your favorite weekly episodic podcast, Ramblers Unleashed, starts now.
Yeah, well, I should say the AEW thing that they always do. It's Tuesday. You know what that means. Ramblers Unleashed is on the air. That hurts my throat, man. I don't know how he does that. It's Tuesday night. Terrific Tuesday. Welcome back to another episode, Ramblers Unleashed. YouTube.com/Ramblers Unleashed. Also live on Twitch.tv. If you search Ramblers Unleashed. Hope your week is going well. Hope you had a good weekend. A lot of great weekend wrestling on as far as that goes with Vengeance Day. We had Grand Slam, AEW Grand Slam. Boy, there's a lot of news regarding Grand Slam too that we need to get into. But it's been a fairly busy day or week as far as wrestling news goes. So with that being said, let's introduce everybody. First and foremost, my best friend, the guy that I absolutely adore, the person who would never even think about eating Culver's without any one of us, especially me. And he's not only the guy that I call my best friend, but he's the only guy that I know that pops bigger for Joel Gertner than any of us. The traders can address him as Mr. Magus, but you and I can call him the mighty Maximus Magus. Golfers clap. Max, how you doing, buddy?
Back this week. Last week was not fun being away from the show, but I'm here. We're going to talk some wrestling news. We're going to roast the traders. It's going to be a great time.
I had to. It's okay. I handled the traders as well as I could, but I'm
so sorry for leaving you in that handicap match situation. But on the plus side, one of them was a little too high to be overly effective in that match, and the other one has Coke bottles on his face.
Well, that is true. And Max, we got you. We're going to go to your desk later on tonight from the desk of Max Mages. Next up is the person whose catchphrase is and will always be Baron, please.
420. 999.
The one who gets higher than planes, hates AEW more than anyone that I know, and who hands feeds Culver's to J-Bone on a picnic without his two other podcast mates. He is the Baron. Golfers clap. Baron, how are you, man?
Yeah. I'm good, man. I'm good. Cold, but good. It's fucking freezing here. It's snowing.
Okay, yeah. Okay, how much snow do you actually have so far?
Not that much, but it's all starting to hit us now. So like probably 3 inches.
Yeah, I think we got an inch and a half, I'd say, here in Southern Illinois.
I hate to keep bringing it up on the show, but I'm absolutely fucking sick of it. I fucking hate it. I don't think there's anything cool about snow.
I know.
I'm definitely in the wrong state.
Me too.
Fuck this shit, man.
Right state of mind.
I probably in the better state of mind than all three of you combined.
Yeah, that's no lie. That is Baron, we got your buzzkill moment coming up later on in the program. Finally, the producer of the show and Max, another trader, who likes to gift Baron Culver's while giving Max and I the finger, laughing maniacally as they skip off hand in hand to the park. But without his wonderful missus, the lovely Mrs. J-Bone, who gifts us this time. And by the way, Max, we actually have a little bit of audio that we need to share here momentarily.
Oh, no.
Yes. Oh, it's going to happen. Yep. Ladies and gentlemen, golfers clap for J-Bone. J-Bone, how you doing, buddy?
I'm doing good. I feel rested.
Yeah.
Which is a good thing at your age.
So, okay. Let's talk about that for a second. I'm sitting in the living room. I'm sitting in my living room. I have everything set up. I have everything ready to go for the show. I have my mic muted. My speakers are on, and I'm watching NXT in my chair, and I'm hearing this like faint grumble. You know, I didn't know what it was. It was like and so I thought, what the hell is that? So I'm looking around my apartment. I thought something was going on in my apartment. And I'm looking around, and I come in here, like, this is the first thing I come in, like the first place I come to. And I hear this grumble, this, and it sounded like either somebody was listening to Dr. Dre off in the distance, or somebody was practicing the bass guitar to go play with like Pantera or something.
That's me, Rex Brown. Yeah.
Yeah, right. So for those of you who are listening, our audience, and for the guys here, I want to play you this piece of audio that I captured, because of course I had to send it to the guys. Had to. Because I figured out what it was. And listen very closely, okay? I want you to listen very closely. You'll hear the there. Yep. Okay. What you just heard was J-Bone snoring. I figured it out. And of course, I had to whip out the phone. And I said, oh my God, that's J-Bone snoring. Now, if you are a fan of the show from past, you remember we constantly talk about Bubba peeing on a live mic. That is the equivalent of Bubba pissing on a live mic. And I'm going to play it one more time because this is just freaking epic.
Oh, no.
Listen again. Listen again. There. Yep. And I was sending the messages to the group, and when he went I thought he woke up. I'm like, oh shit, J-Bone's awake. I'm like, oh shit, and I didn't know he was not. He did not wake up, man. Like, he did not wake up, and I sent like message after message after message. I really thought he was going to wake up. So that is how.
Every week they sit here and they blame me and say that it's my fault that we're late getting on air. But I want you, the viewers, to know that outside of tonight, 9 times out of 10, the reason we are late is because we have to wake J-Bone up from his evening nap before we can go live.
Let me step in here and talk with my best friend, J-Bone here. That is not the case, folks. If you want the real story here, it's 9 times out of 10, it's actually Max who is late. And we're also bullshitting for 20 minutes. So that,
for the last several weeks, I have been in here with Dizzy wondering where you two are.
Yep, that's true.
Last week I wasn't on, and this week I did run behind. But that's because I had other stuff.
Well, because we're programmed to know that at least whatever our time is scheduled to get on the call, it's 15 minutes after that, because Max is usually 15 minutes late. Not my best friend J-Bone. It's Max.
But every Tuesday, it never fails. J-Bone always sleeps, and he always tells on himself. Every single time. He's like,
it's hard out here for a pimp. You know what? You got to take your naps.
I mean, look, I'm not blaming him. I'm not like judging him. At his age,
I'm an old
you're
bone.
going to fall asleep in your chair no matter how hard you try. It happens. We're not judging him for it. We're just pointing out to the viewers that that's why we've been late.
I know. I'm a little territorial with my best friend, J-Bone.
Well, I'm a little territorial with my best friend, too. So
now,
there's plenty of me. There's plenty of me to go around, guys. Just
Well, before this escalates any further,
I was talking about Max.
Right. Before this escalates any further, there are 2 more introductions that need to be made, and one of them is a special case because I feel like some people. I feel like Dizzy doesn't get the recognition he deserves, but I feel like some of you others don't get the recognition you deserve.
Oh,
And so tonight, I want to introduce the 5th member of Ramblers Unleashed. First, before I introduce my best friend, because without you, there is no show. We can sit here and talk until we're blue in the face, but without every single one of you watching this, there's no point. There's no reason for it. We could just do what we do all week and just chat and messenger. So thank you from the bottom of our hearts and welcome to Ramblers Unleashed. Now, to the big invite, the big intro of the night. Ladies and gentlemen, there's one man that makes this show what it is. There is one man that does all the legwork all week and pulls together the stories that you all so enjoy. There is one man who I would stand toe-to-toe with in a ring as my tag team partner against, well, not just those two, but some others too. Ladies and gentlemen, that man is my best friend. He is the Rambler. His name is Dizzy, and I want a real clap, not a golfer's clap for this man.
gosh. I am verklempt. That was beautiful, Max. Thank you so much. That was awesome. You two need to step it up.
This is actually sickening. This is like watching like As the World Turns episode, because 2 months ago you weren't getting that introduction.
What? Oh, well, I had to
Not
earn
even a month ago.
Look, the problem was I figured at some point somebody that knew him longer than me would step up and say, hey, you may be the host of the show, but you deserve an intro too. That didn't happen. So
He's
then
the
I figured,
hostess with the mostest.
and then I figured, the guy who has multiple other podcasts that he does and produces the show, maybe he'll step up and do it because I'm the heel. That's not something the heels should be doing. But at the end of the day, it doesn't matter whether I'm the heel or the face. The host of the show, the man that puts it all together, deserves an intro just as much as the rest of us.
God damn it, Max. Whatever. You're right.
I wished him a happy birthday. Isn't that enough? Damn.
Yeah, right? Happy belated, even though I told you happy birthday on the day.
I missed
Dizzy, I
you
hope
too,
you had
Courtney.
the best birthdays, my man.
How
Thank
old
you.
now, Diz?
Oh God, I'm too old.
25, baby. 25.
25 for life.
25, and we were watching fucking Blink 182 at Hollywood Amphitheater.
Oh my God, I
I
remember.
don't know if that was the actual age, but that was,
I don't know how old. When was that?
dude, I don't remember. It was.
That's
It's
half
been
my-
like 12 to 15 years, dude.
Yes, man, that was a hell of a show too, man. That
was
a
great.
good
Fantastic.
That's
show.
half
We need
my
to go to
age.
another one, man.
Dizzy's half
Meanwhile-
my age and twice as hot.
Yeah, Dizzy's over here just turning 25. Baron's down there, can't remember how old he is. J-Bone's down there, can't remember how
420.
old he is, but for a completely different reason.
That's true. That is true. But Max, thank you again, man. That was beautiful. Thank you for the birthday wishes, guys. I appreciate it. And yeah, I did have a good birthday. I got way too drunk on Saturday night. Saturday night was my birthday, and I got way too drunk. Way too drunk. And yes, Amanda, it will always forever be Riverport. It will always forever.
Change your name from Riverport to Hollywood, because I've always, when I moved here, I always considered it Hollywood.
It was Riverport, and then Verizon Wireless Amphitheater, and then it became Hollywood.
I remember as Verizon.
Oh.
Wireless.
Okay, I get what you guys are talking about now. Just like we have Mile High Stadium, no matter what they put in front of it.
Yes.
Yeah,
Exactly.
literally. But I feel like they change it every other fucking year to, I don't know. I could be totally just fucking stoned, but whatever.
No,
Riverport.
It's whoever buys the sponsorship for it. Yeah.
It
Oh,
is.
no shit. Literally.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what it's all about. But Hollywood Casino, I mean, Jesus, they own a lot of St. Louis, so it's like,
Yeah.
why not buy a fucking amphitheater too? You know?
Which, by the way, the Hollywood Casino Hotel is absolute dog shit.
Oh,
Just
really?
throwing it out there. It's awful. Terrible.
Hopefully, they don't want to be sponsors of the show.
If they do, I'm fucking just not gonna allow it to happen.
Oh boy.
Courtney, I can't believe you're going to be 38 in July. You don't look it. You really don't. You really don't.
Be 30. I'll be 37 in June. What the fuck?
Damn, man, we're getting fucking old, dude.
Disgusting.
It is
It's
Or in
rough.
J-Bone's case, we're already old.
Yes, yeah. Thanks, J-Bone. Appreciate you.
It's contagious. Yeah. You're welcome.
I got a chair shot waiting for you, bud.
Oh, thank you, you son of a bitch.
He's so old, he'll never see it coming, and he'll wake up and go, that was a good nap.
Yes, absolutely.
Best nap I ever had. Ow.
Why do I hurt? Critical Sting says, I find it hilarious. There's talk of being 25 when an actual 25-year-old is lost as fuck. Absolutely. And thank you, Punk. Appreciate you, buddy.
Let me be honest with you. Let's not go there.
Man, let's not go there, best friend.
And I am still lost as fuck.
Best friend, I thought you were in your 30s, man.
We'll go with that.
Okay. We'll go with that. You guys want to talk some, what's up?
Lost AF. That's my middle name.
Yeah, no shit.
We're all lost as fuck.
We know, Grandpa. Let's get you back to your bed, Grandpa.
Yeah. But first, let's talk some wrestling. That's what it's all about, right?
Where's my blanket? Oh, are we live? Son of a bitch.
Yeah, we're live. We're ready to go. Let's talk some NXT first, man. Jordan Grace, what a fucking NXT show this was tonight, man. A lot of greats came and made their appearance, for some for the first night, some for the second night. Moose, the first night he appeared on NXT, as far as I know, he came tonight. Jordan Grace had her match as the main event. They signed Ricky Starks, or what was it that what was it that they called Ricky? Somebody called Ricky Saints.
Ricky
Is
Saints.
So is he Ricky Saints now?
Yeah.
Really? That's so stupid. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I mean, kind of, sort of, but also not really. You're coming to a different league, man. It's, you know what I'm saying? It's just how they're going to market him. I don't think it's a bad idea. We don't. I don't feel like the name means everything. You know what I'm saying?
I mean, but I guess when he went from NXT or AEW to NXT, I just figured he would have be able to keep Ricky Starks, you know, because I like it. I don't know about this Saints thing, but I guess it may grow on me. I
think they're both pretty close names, and I think anytime you're taken away from NXT or from AEW, you might want to change your name at this point.
Yeah.
Anybody, well, to be honest, and I completely understand this, so I'll explain it for those that don't get it. Anything, called Saints in, Dizzy or Baron's neck of the woods, they're going to be a little off key about it because they lost the damn Saints.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Another
noted. J-Ball, thought you were my best friend, but never mind.
Yeah. Yeah. You want to jump ship?
I'm not trying to rub it in. I'm just explaining to our audience.
You want to jump ship, Baron? I mean,
no, I guess I'm just going to be the lone wolf here.
Max and I will always make some room for you, man.
Me and the fans. That's all that matters.
Max, Max, you think it's okay if we make some room for him, best friend?
He offered to get us high. We can make some room
I
for him.
think, yeah, exactly. I didn't think you'd have any objections to that. We also had the Hardys show up on NXT on a pre-recorded little message to accept the match with. Are they going to take on Faxium? Right? No. They invited Faxium to the ring to watch them take on. Who was that? Who did they challenge?
I don't remember them challenging anybody. I thought they were just showing up.
No, they accepted a challenge from somebody because
I'm looking at it.
Look it up, and Chad, if you can help us out, who did the Hardys accept the challenge to on NXT and invited Faxium out to ringside to watch him whoop ass? no catch quarter crew.
That's it.
okay.
Yeah.
Weird name.
Yeah.
and
Doesn't it feel a little
QCC.
weird to see the Hardys on NXT though? Like, I mean, not in a bad way at all, but it's just I see the Hardys and I'm always like,
Well,
main roster. You know what I'm saying? Like, always see him like in the big picture because they're always such a big name.
I always thought it was weird to see them in TNA, to be quite honest, man, because they were in the big picture. They were on WWE, and I don't know.
I can never ever discredit Jeff Hardy's heel TNA run. So I always will remember him in TNA with that heel run he had.
Yeah.
It was great to me, even though he was fucked up during the entire time.
Wait a second. Who did they attack at the end of the show here? I'm scrolling through Twitter and I'm trying to like.
I don't know if I saw that.
There's someone on the floor and I can't tell who it is. Ava finds him and it said the writing is on the wall. It says no one is safe, and it's those 4 guys that jumped.
Oh yeah. It was the 4 dudes that the mysterious guys that attacked people at the end of the show.
Yeah. Who the hell is on the floor? If anyone in the,
I don't know who that is. But yeah, it's an exciting time in NXT. Honestly, it's not only exciting for it was Robert Stone. Thank you, Critical Sting. Appreciate you.
And Mayor, thank you.
And Mayor,
I couldn't tell who they were. Okay, so he's kind of like become Ava's assistant, is what I'm gathering. Sort of.
I think so. Yeah,
sort of. Yeah.
But it's an exciting time for NXT, not only for us Jordan Grace fans, but for Jordan Grace too, for Moose, for everybody over at TNA that's jumping ship over to NXT. It's an exciting time, man, and we're all looking really forward to it. One story that we really didn't cover a lot was Nikki Bella and this Artem Shingvidsev, her ex-husband, that relationship, man. And it was a messy split between those two. I mean, the police were involved. It was not a good situation between those two. Now, Nikki Bella is getting very candid about what she's looking for. So on the latest episode of the Nikki and Bree Show podcast, Nikki Bella was talking to her sister Bree and their guest, Rosie Diaz, about meeting potential partners while in New Orleans for the Super Bowl. Max, this is good news for you and I. For the other two, not so much. Nikki boldly stated that the group of women certainly noticed that many of the men in the city were younger. And Nikki boldly stated, and I quote, "Do we want to train younger men? I want to be owned. I want my body rocked." Nikki also shared her preference for someone with life experience too. She says, quote, where's the retired ones at? The ones that have some wisdom and age and have experienced life a little bit. Bree advised her you do not that she didn't want to get into retired men, but Nikki chirped back and said, quote, "You're right. No, I'll just do it all. Do young, I'll do retired," end quote. So Nikki Bella is on the move. She's on the hunt. And Max, good news for us. We're available, Nikki. If you ever see this, J-Bone, you're out of luck, bud. I'm sorry. I'm sure.
Oh no, I'm happy right where I'm at. You guys are crazy if you think you're lucky going after her, man. That's no. That is one crazy divorced woman. No, sorry.
No way. I'm sure Mrs. Barron would have to dig a fresh grave for you. But as far as Max and myself are concerned, we're available. We're available.
So, wait, what's going on here? What is Nikki Bella trying to do?
Okay, Nikki Bella.
She's looking for love in all the wrong places, like the song says.
Yes.
Oh, okay, got it.
Nikki Bella just got out of a bad relationship and bad marriage, and she it was a mess. And now she's looking for her potential suitor, and she doesn't care if they're young, if they're old, if they're retired. All dudes are on the table except for married dudes, and that's J-Bone and Baron. You're practically married.
May as well be.
You might as well be at this point. I don't know why I haven't received an invitation.
Well, you know what though? Like, good for her, because you know what? She fucking, if anybody watched that show with her and John Cena,
Oh,
I mean, that dude was a piece of shit to her. So you know what? Good for her. And the stories I've heard with her ex-husband or whatever the case may be, go for it, girl, because she's been through some fucking shit, because John Cena treated her like absolute dog shit on that show.
So what Baron is saying, best friend, is that if she dated either one of us, it would be a serious upgrade over the men we know about.
yeah,
that's what I'm saying.
I'm telling you, I think it would be great.
She went to a rival. What's really weird, I feel like she graduated a couple of years before or after me. I can't remember, but she went to a rival school in Arizona with me. She went to Scottsdale, one of the highest, like, most expensive public schools in Arizona. It's just weird because we graduated during the same period of time.
Yeah, Courtney, I think there was more to that. There's definitely more to that story that we did not cover on this show because we wanted to respect her privacy. And I knew the dirt sheets were out there talking about it and all that. And we didn't want to dive into that on the show, but we're just trying to point a little positive light in Nikki's way, so that, you know, she can go out there and be loved again, man, because she deserves
be loved, baby. That's what all is. What it's all about, baby. Just be loved.
Yeah, exactly.
Courtney,
I will never say anything bad about the GOAT, John Cena, in the ring, but I will always say something bad about John Cena and whatever TV show that was. Well, I don't remember what that was.
It was
the Divas.
Was it the Divas? He was a piece of shit to her. And
that contract, I'll admit, that contract he had her sign is bullshit.
I mean, yeah, dude. And then, like, always talk down to her. A piece of shit on the show. Maybe it could have been just how the show played out, but he was an absolute piece of shit to her on that show. Like, she was cooking on the show, and, like, he was fucking pissed that he was dirtying up her countertops. Like, come on, dude, fuck off with that shit, dude.
I get that he's, you know, his name is a big business and he's got to protect that, but
we don't treat people like shit around here.
Unless
it's the best friends up above us, J-Bone.
Show, everybody. Hope you had fun. Bye.
I love you guys.
And for the record, her stepdad turned out to be a real piece of shit too.
Yeah, you're not lying on that one.
Oh, you're talking about John Laryngitis.
Yeah, the guy that had the fans held up the sign that says, "We want you to know we're not booing because you're a quality heel. We're booing because you legitimately suck."
Yeah.
I will never out of town.
So the WWE product that we've known when Vince McMahon was overseeing everything is not the same as it is now. The company saw a new creative spark as Triple H took the reins when Vince retired. The changing of the guard really has freshened up the product in a big way, but Michael Cole is still doing his thing on the commentary table, and Cole was recently on the Impulsive podcast and brought up a lot of interesting topics. The first thing that he spoke about of what he was talking about is how things changed since Vince left. He said he's permitted to do so much more on screen, and he's actually able to have fun with his job. Cole crowd surfing like he did in Indy at the Rumble, or yeeting whenever Jey Uso comes out, would have never happened with Vince there. Cole also broke his silence about Corey Graves and that whole incident. He admitted that he really didn't fully understand all the dynamics of what happened, but he knew Corey Graves posted something on social media that was really critical of the company. Cole did clarify that the situation was indeed a shoot, as we all on the show were thinking it was, but he thinks that things are being worked out with Graves and the WWE. So that is the question of the day that we have for our listeners is, do you think Corey Graves is going to catch any more heat on the NXT commentary? I just don't know about this guy, man. You think that everything is just over and done with, and everything is on the up and up now that he came back and everything is cool. Corey is definitely making some waves in the WWE, and he's drawing some criticism from Booker T as Graves is still catching heat from Book. This time it was on Vengeance Day. I don't know if you guys caught this, but it was during the strap match between Trick Williams and Eddie Thorpe. The tension in the booth was impossible to ignore. Graves, Booker T, and Vic Joseph were all at the table, and while they're back and forth, mostly stuck to the match, Joseph couldn't help but sneak in a jab at Corey. And at one point, Joseph turned to Graves and casually asked if he was planning on returning to social media to complain. A clear reference to the online controversy that had Booker T speaking out in the first place. Graves didn't fire back, but the moment really didn't go unnoticed. And they've been taking jabs and keeping this real life tension on part of the show. So that's the question of the day. Do you think things will calm down with Corey and Booker, maybe even Vic Joseph? Go ahead, Baron.
I think it'll work. I think there's, with Corey Graves, there's some type of work. I remember reading he got like the okay to return into the ring. And that could be totally off page. We all read a bunch of weird shit on the internet. But I feel like it's a work of some sort because they're really building this up and they're highlighting that on the booth. Is it, if there's like internal heat, they would not highlight that on the booth whatsoever.
But in the booth, who's he going to go up against? Is he going to go up against Booker? Booker's retired, Max. I mean, who he can't go up against Vic Joseph, for the love of God.
I mean, first off, we just discussed the fact that they have more free reign on the commentary table than they used to, which means that Booker may have not been told, as he would have in the past, by a certain somebody that's good to be gone. This is what you need to say and nothing else. They probably told Booker, go out there, do what you know how to do, and Booker may have taken it too far. However, that notwithstanding, I think the original tweet was because McAfee was going to be going to Netflix with Cole. And originally, the plan was Corey Graves and whoever they had, probably Wade. But then everything got changed up, and it became McAfee and Cole going to Netflix, Tessitore and Wade going to SmackDown, and Corey getting put back on NXT. And here's the thing. I don't like the way he went about it. Don't get me wrong. But if you think about it for a minute, you've worked really hard at your job. You finally got to that point that you have, and you've earned it. You have gotten the promotion you wanted. You're sitting where you want to be for your job. And they're like, we have 2 guys for Raw. We have 2 guys for SmackDown. We don't need a 5th guy on those 2 tables at the moment. So we're going to send you back down to NXT where they could benefit from a 3rd person. Now, here's my opinion. While Tessitore is improving and getting better at calling a WWE match, I think you still could have used the 3rd guy on the table with Tessitore while he's getting into while he's working on getting better into the groove, because he's still not quite there. I think that Corey, I definitely agree with Max. Corey went about it the wrong way. Should he have gone to social media and aired his dirty laundry? No, he should have gone to the powers that be at WWE and actually told them what his beef was. And that way, maybe it could have changed. But now I feel like Corey is just stuck after doing that. And I've always, like, no matter what job I've had, I've always tried to be a team player and tried to do what's best for the company. And if Corey Graves going back to NXT is what's best for the business, what's best for the company,
that he needs to keep his mouth shut, or go to him and politely say, look, man, what the fuck? You gave me this spot on Raw. I know we're at Netflix now, but even Cole praised him as being a good commentator because he really is a good commentator, J-Bone. It was just a really shitty situation, a really shitty situation that that Corey was thrown into that, and I think he was moved to Raw or SmackDown or wherever he went just a little too soon. I think he should have. I think they should have just kept things as it was and not build, up anticipation, saying, "Hey, Corey, we're going to move you to the big leagues," and a month or two or however long he was on SmackDown for, move him back to NXT.
Yeah, I think. Yeah, there definitely was a more professional way of going about it. I can understand this beef. I totally get it. You're at a certain, level of respect in the company. You think you're holding your own, and then this happens, and stuff happens with Pat McAfee getting his spot, and you want to get some of that Netflix money too. I totally get that, and yeah, I can understand his beef, but yeah, he went about it all wrong. I tell you, someone who's been down in NXT for a while, and I think is actually doing really good the more I hear him, and I've been actually a fan of his for years, is Vic Joseph. I think Vic Joseph should have been considered for something. I don't know.
Yeah, Vic is good. Vic is really good at what he does. He and Corey are good on the mic. I wish that they'd get rid of Booker. I can't stand Booker.
Okay. But let's not discourage the fact of advocate for yourself. You know what? But, in wrestling world, there's only one thing that truly matters to the business of wrestling, and that is what the fans say. So we've seen for years and years and years people go on social media and just blast their dirty laundry. Sometimes it's good, sometimes it's bad. That those things do happen. But I feel like that's how you really get the community to rally behind you. If there is any kind of discourse, between.
Well, yeah, when your microphone is too low and nobody's really listening to you or hearing you,
turn it up. Yeah.
What you got to do, you got to turn it up to 11 and go to fucking social media and blast it. But did he go to the proper channels and say, hey, what the hell's going on? Why am I being downgraded or demoted, if you will?
Right now, I don't think there's any downgrade you're moving to in WWE. What NXT is doing right now is just as good as the main roster. Yeah, in my mind, both are great, but
he already had his time in NXT. He already had his.
Yeah, he had his time on the main roster too, though. He had a long run.
Yeah, 9 years. He was doing commentary on the main roster for the last 9 years before this shift happened. Yeah. And the thing about it is that even though we sit here and we talk about how good NXT is and how they're performing on the same level as the main roster, and even though WWE has said it's a third brand, they don't treat it like a third brand. They treat it still like it's a training ground, like it's something lesser than WWE. So I'm sorry for how I actually feel bad for how that made Corey feel getting sent back down there. The fact of the matter is, it does feel like a demotion. It feels like you're being punished. Mm-hmm. But, and this is important, okay? If the WWE has forgiven you and put you back on and allowed you to return to work and do commentary, to let Booker T sit there and needle him without it being a storyline would be absolutely wrong, in my opinion. Mm-hmm. If this is said and done and we're not turning it into a story where Corey has a match later, then Booker's comments are unnecessary and need to be stricken from the record. He already feels bad enough as it is that he caused the trouble that he did, and now you're going to let Booker sit there and go, why don't you go complain about it on social media? No. Stop that.
And Vic, too. Vic throwing shots at Corey too. You know, it's just not cool, man. I mean, if they're going to turn this into a story, then let it build the right way. If it's not a story, which it's not, it's a shoot, then just let it go. God dang, we wouldn't even hear about any of this shit if Vince were still on in control. Nothing about it.
But if Vince was still in control, Corey may not have been forgiven and brought back. So
that's
there's
true.
that.
That is true. But it would have been a dead subject if Vince was still there, man.
Right. And there's one more thing I want to point out. I have praised guys like Matt Cardona and Joe Hendry for going out there and getting the public on their side, even when companies didn't really, put them in the spotlight the way they maybe should have. Mm-hmm. But here's the problem with going out there and putting yourself out there for the public. You get the flip side of that. You get the IWC that thinks they know what's best. And we're going to get into that here in a few minutes because I have more thoughts on that. And that's going to come up in my segment. But the IWC is a problem, in my opinion. And we've really got to do better.
We do have to do better. Yeah. And we were talking about the IWC in our chat, and we'll get to it later on during when we get to the desk of Max Mages. But we want to hear your thoughts too. Are you surprised about this whole Corey and Booker and Vic Joseph thing on NXT? Do you think it's going to calm down? We'd love to hear your thoughts in the chats. Let's talk about an interesting topic on this show, and that is viewership numbers. And we normally do ratings for both WWE and for AEW too, and we've wondered about Netflix how they add the numbers up for viewers during Raw. Sometimes the calculations really don't add up, and they don't really follow the same pattern. So we ask ourselves, how's the data being measured? So Netflix recently told WrestleNomics that it uses the same methodology each week to determine Raw's views, meaning there shouldn't be any discrepancies. But when you break down the math, things get a little murky. The key issue, Raw's live and delayed. The viewership are measured differently due to changes in run times. So while this might not seem like a big deal at first, it's leading to some odd inconsistencies when compared to other Netflix content. So here's an example, and I'm not going to do any Steiner math. Okay, let's look at the February 3rd episode of Monday Night Raw. If you divide the total hours viewed, 6.1 million, by the runtime, which was an hour and 55 minutes, you get 3.2 million views. But Netflix officially listed the number as 3.1 million, which is a small difference, but other Raw episodes have shown larger gaps in just 3%. So we're never going to get true numbers, just close enough numbers, which is better than what's being pulled over at AEW, which is honestly good. Max, I mean, are you shocked at the numbers? Did you think that something like this was going to happen when they made the jump to Netflix versus like an actual Nielsen report?
Hey, listen, I'm not a big fan of Nielsen. Let me tell you why. The part of the problem when it comes to Nielsen is they're same way when you do a poll. You call a group of people, and then you get a percentage of that group and say that 48% of these people support this. Yeah, you called 100 people, 48 of them agreed with what you were saying. Now you have a number of 48%. And that's the problem with the Nielsen ratings. The Nielsen ratings send you a little box when you're a Nielsen family. You hook that up to whatever you use to watch your television shows, and that's how they get their ratings, is off of that, tracking that box. The problem with this is it doesn't typically track the DVR, doesn't track this, doesn't track that. So the weird thing with Netflix is how many people watch it, how many unique accounts watched Raw. It shows. They can look at all that in their little background. I don't know why they're not releasing the data that way. Why are they releasing it with Steiner math? Because as far as I'm concerned, even though you didn't call it Steiner math and you said you weren't going to do Steiner math, I'm pretty sure Netflix figured out their little formula after talking to Scott Steiner. That's the only thing that makes sense for how they determined that that's how many people watched. If 6.1 million people watched Raw, 6.1 million people watched Raw. your little system will tell you how many accounts tuned in. Read us that number.
Yeah, why do we have to do the division? I don't know why we have to divide shit. Like, what? I don't know. I don't understand Netflix. I don't understand the way that they
you have to divide and conquer. That's where the problem comes in.
So they're too busy conquering instead of dividing correctly. Okay, I got you.
They subtracted the wrong stuff. They divided they did the divide, and it's going to lead to multiplying later. But at this point, there's nothing we can do about it.
I thought I was bad at math in high school. Jiminy Christmas.
21. That's all I gotta say. 21. If anybody remembers that vine. 21.
Oh man, but it's just, I don't know, the numbers to me and the way that Netflix is looking at all the viewership versus what the USA Network has to do with Nielsen. It's just interesting to me. So, I mean, we'll keep an eye on it. I'm definitely interested in these numbers, though.
Yeah, I think it's a little different than like the Nelson. Like
it is.
I mean, because we have playback on Netflix. We don't have playback on USA or anything along those lines,
yeah.
right?
Right.
Well, you have DVR.
And then you have DVR.
Yeah, but how many people DVR in 2025? Let's be real.
Well, when you
well, of course, J-Bone would raise his hand on that one.
No. J-Bone doesn't DVR. J-Bone still has his VCR hooked up with a little tape in it that he schedules to.
I was going to say TiVo. Is he doing TiVo?
Yeah,
I think it would be super hard to like determine that because a lot more people are going to watch the playback on Netflix than they are going to live.
I'm starting to run out of places to buy my VHS tapes. Damn it!
Blockbusters,
Blockbusters making a comeback, folks. Blockbusters coming back.
I used to go to Rad Shack all the time. Now I can't find one. Son of a bitch. Or Walmart's no help. Oh, they got DVDs. What the fuck is a DVD?
We got the Blu-ray. The hell is a Blu-ray? Anyway, let's go to the desk of Max Magus. This is kind of interesting, all right? So WWE, we all know, has a new reality show called Legends and Future Greats. And it's recently made its debut. Fans seem to be pretty interested in the show so far. However, Bully Ray already managed to cause some drama after getting into a heated exchange with an NXT prospect. And now a former WWE writer has claimed that Bully Ray is simply trying to land a full-time job in the company. And Max, you probably won't be surprised by the name that's causing the drama. While speaking on Sportskeeda Russell Binge, our favorite guy, Vince Russo, criticized WWE LFG, claiming some legends will use it to get a job in WWE, specifically Bully Ray. He compared the show to Tough Enough, which featured active wrestlers, while LFG relies on retired stars who might overshadow aspiring talent. So Russo believes that this doesn't apply to The Undertaker, Mickie James, or Booker T, but he accused Bully Ray of trying to land a full-time job with the company, using the show to steal the spotlight from the talent. He warned that if the focus changes to the legends, LFG might not be as interesting. Here's what Russo said, Max, and I quote, "The dangerous thing here that when they were doing Tough Enough, they were doing it with active wrestlers. Al Snow was an active wrestler. They were using active wrestlers. Now you're using former WWE wrestlers who are no longer in the spotlight. It's like, you know what I'm talking about. They're going to make it about them because they're looking for that full-time spot in WWE. They're going to make it about them, and it's really going to take the spotlight off the potential wrestlers. That's what I think anyway. That's why I think there's a danger in doing it with retired guys, with the exception of Taker and Mickie James and Booker T. He's already there. You and I both know Bully would give you his right, you know what, to get a full-time job there. He's going to seize this spotlight to steal the show, and if that's what it turns into, I don't know if it's going to be interesting," end quote. Now, some fans are actually worried about the show, and it might focus on legends rather than the rising stars. So, Max, do you think Russo is right to make this claim?
You know what? Whether he's right or not doesn't make him right for saying it. Sure, maybe Bubba Ray is trying to get a full-time gig by doing this, but so what? Who are you to talk about that, Vince Russo? Listen, you were relevant when you were back in WWE. You were relevant when you were putting on an Attitude Era, a collection of stories. And then when you went to WCW, you tried to do the same stories and it failed. So then you became obsessed with the pole. You've been obsessed with the pole ever since, not just putting people on it, but putting yourself on a pole, if you know what I mean, Russo. And then let me talk to the IWC for just a second. Stop judging all this negatively. These people are going out there and doing their best for you. They're trying to put on a damn good show, and you want to get in here and say, you're doing it wrong. You're doing it wrong. Where's your 20 years of experience? All right? It's not just people like Bully Ray that are getting the brunt of the IWC on all of this. Michelle McCool, who may not have been one of my favorite wrestlers, but damn well deserves her induction into the Hall of Fame. And you people are sitting out here complaining, talking about how she was the worst half of Late Cool. She doesn't deserve. Yes, she does. And it doesn't matter how many titles she won. None of that. She went out there and put her heart and soul in that ring. She made an impact on this business. You know how I know she made an impact on this business? Because you people are still talking about the things she did all that time ago as part of your argument for why she shouldn't be in the Hall of Fame. The same goes for all of you complaining about Triple H. Triple H did not put himself in this position. They went behind his back and decided that he needed to be inducted as Triple H. So stop trying to say Triple H is taking somebody's spot. He did not do this. All right? At the end of the day, we want to be able to enjoy wrestling. And I get it. You want to enjoy it your way, but it's not always going to be your way. If you people had more patience and sat there and listened and enjoyed what the WWE is putting out, you might enjoy it. And if you keep running your mouth, we get stuck with another round of Vince Russo sticking everything on a freaking pole because that's all he knows how to do anymore. Rant over.
The only thing that I have to say about that is that the IWC is so fucking pissed off that their moms are ready to kick them out of their basement because they consistently bitch about her meatloaf just fucking sucking. All right? These people will bitch about it. The sky is fucking blue or purple. All right? These guys will go outside and say the grass isn't green, it's beige. And then they want to book wrestling. Okay, that's fucking smart. Are you taking fucking Adderall? Like, what the hell is your problem, dude?
Listen, I would trust Tony Khan to book a good show before I trust the IWC. All right? Let's be clear on that. I know Tony Khan's show is going to suck, but it's going to be better than whatever you idiots produce.
And that's sad, man. Like, I hate the
Wait,
IWC.
who's disgruntled about Triple H going into the Hall of Fame?
Everybody
Really?
pissed off about it. Oh my God.
I'm seeing things pop up all over social media. They're bitching because Triple H decided to put himself in the Hall of Fame. Why would he choose to take somebody else's spot that he could have put into the Hall of Fame? He didn't choose that. I'll see if I can find some of that on Facebook and send it to you.
Whether he chose that or he didn't, I think we can all agree that it's well deserved because Triple H is a main stage character.
The four of us agree.
Yeah, and I think a large amount of people do, other than the weird IWC. It's well deserved, 100%.
Next, absolutely. And the IWC was actually bitching about the fact that, well, Triple H is on TV too much. He's on TV too much. Who do you think is ushering in the new fucking era, dude? It's Triple H.
Right.
It's his fucking era. He's the head of the WWE now, which is what we all wanted in the first fucking place. Because Vince he had a fucking ironclad everything, and we got tired of it. And he never listened to the fans. The fucking Triple H is listening to us. He's giving us what we want.
Yes.
This is what we've been asking for this entire time. And you want to bitch about the fact that Triple H is on TV too much. Who gives a shit? He was on TV all the fucking time when he was an active wrestler. He didn't bitch about that.
He's a freaking icon.
Yes.
Vince was on TV all the time, even when he wasn't an active wrestler.
He was all over the fucking place. He was shooting out there. He wasn't fucking doing works. He was shooting out there. He was on Nitros. He was on the fucking pay-per-views. He did a whole fucking thing with fucking Hogan. I'm like, okay.
Remember when he wrestled God?
Yeah. Oh. Remember, dude. All right,
We're just talking about egos. There you go.
IWC. Pick your fucking poison. Either we go back to Vince McMahon calling out God, or we have Vince Russo wrestle God. What do you want? Or we have Triple H on TV all the time. What do you fucking want?
Listen, do you really want to see Vince Russo playing with the pole? Because I know I don't. I know these guys don't. I know our viewers don't.
Judy Bagwell, she needs to rest, okay?
Vince Russo, keep your pole at home, all right?
Please.
Keep him away from the pole. Friends don't let friends put poles near Vince Russo.
Yeah, right. Exactly. Well, it's just so fucking infuriating when we have to bring up the IWC, because I feel like I could go. I remember the segment I used to do, go off the top rope. I feel like I could go off the top rope every single time with the fucking IWC, but I'm not going to, because we got to move on. We have the Baron's Buzzkill moment because we're going to move into AEW news. And AEW's first ever event in Australia was supposed to be a monumental moment for the company, but instead, Grand Slam Australia on the 15th of February at Brisbane Entertainment Centre turned into an absolute disaster. From botched seating arrangements to a tiny borrowed wrestling ring, fans were left frustrated, and now many are questioning whether AEW even picked the right city for the event. Before the show, Tony Khan appeared on Russell Radio Australia and addressed one of the biggest questions surrounding the event: why AEW chose Brisbane over a major city like Sydney. According to Khan, the decision wasn't AEW's. It was Brisbane that made the first move. Tony Khan said, Baron, and I quote, "Brisbane wanted us. Brisbane came to us and said, we really want you. We want you to do a show here. We think AEW would be a tremendous attraction to Brisbane," end quote. While that may have sounded like a solid reason at the time, the event itself proved to be anything but smooth. Fans who shelled out thousands for premium seating were outraged when they arrived at the venue, only to find their seats nowhere near where they expected. Some were even placed in completely different sections than what they had paid for. And instead of a refund or any kind of price adjustment, they were told to just deal with it. Social media was flooded with complaints, and some fans saying that they felt outright scammed by the experience. And then was the problem with the ring. AEW, rather than shipping their standard ring, opted to borrow one from a local independent wrestling promotion. The result? A noticeably smaller ring that looked ridiculous in the middle of a massive venue. Fans watching on TV immediately noticed, with one viewer sarcastically asking, quote, "Was this ring built for ants?" end quote. The presentation felt cheap for a company that prides itself on production value. It was a massive step down. And of course, in regular Tony Khan fashion, he spun all the controversy into calling it a major success, claiming that Grand Slam was the biggest, had one of the biggest gates in AEW history.
It was in the top 3 or something.
Yeah, some bullshit. And it's a kind of a hollow statement from Khan, seeing as how lots of fans were feeling let down by the execution of Grand Slam. So, Baron, I know this doesn't really shock you, but I'm curious to your thoughts on the situation thus far that you've heard. Does it shock you?
Do we have the cue?
Oh, hold on. We do have the cue. Hang on just 1 second. Yeah. So, Baron, does this shock you?
No, Dizzy, it does not shock me at all. At all at this point in juncture with AEW. As you all love to know on a weekly basis, my rant with AEW does not surprise me at all. I don't know what the fuck's going on over there. You know, a little back history. I've done a lot of Kokana in my lifetime. So I see what's happening with Tony Khan right now. And it makes a lot of sense, man. It's a lot going on in that brain during that period of time. You know, but I thought it was a decent show. I didn't think it was a bad show at all.
Did you watch it?
I did watch it. Yeah,
Oh,
I absolutely did.
I didn't think
I watch AEW. My attention span on the AEW shows is a little different than most. But I did watch it. It wasn't an awful show by any means. The ring was noticeable, 100%. You know, I think they're having to choose these smaller venues compared to other promotions. They have to, because I don't think there's enough ticket sales for that. And to go back on ticket sales real quick, every fucking show in AEW tops the top 3. I don't fucking understand where they're getting these numbers from. It doesn't make sense. I don't care, because at the end of the day, the only thing that matters to me with a wrestling show is the quality of it.
Well, to be fair, whenever they do these bigger events like the Grand Slams or any pay-per-view, they do sell quite a bit of tickets versus what they would on a Dynamite or a Collision. But this was considered to be a Collision episode.
Right? Yeah, that's the thing. They did not promote this as being a bigger show, and they never do. I never understand that.
But they also didn't even promote it to be on TNT. People thought it was going to be a pay-per-view. People didn't know where it was going to air. We had questions on where the fuck it was aired. J-Bone was in the chat, and our Facebook chat was like, where the fuck is this Grand Slam? Yeah. And I had to look it up on my guide, and I said, hey, it's Collision.
Yeah, and I don't understand that at all.
I was shocked.
I was like, the marketing for the shows are just terrible across the board. Saturday should just be a typical PLE pay-per-view type of event. Simple as that. Mm-hmm. You have your weekly shows on a weekday.
Or do it like what they did with Sunday Night Heat. Have Sunday Night Heat on or have Collision on TNT an hour long, and then hype people up to go buy the pay-per-view, and then have the pay-per-view.
Yeah. I mean, to go back on, Grand Slam, it was a good show. The crowd was involved.
I liked it.
It was good. There's not much bad about it. Their wrestling is always phenomenal. We go through this every fucking week. I hate what they're doing, but the wrestling is always great. Yeah. What they did with Adam Copeland and the fans just fucking singing that song, great.
Yeah, that was a moment.
That was cool, and goosebumps. No, not you, Max Magus, but it's just the marketing of all the shows just seem off. And I was also confused about this show on Saturday. I did not know it was like a sideshow Grand Slam. I thought it was just typical Collision, and that's how they promoted it. So they have to get some shit together.
Originally, apparently, they sold it as a pay-per-view.
Yes.
And that was, I think, my understanding is that they originally actually sold the tickets at pay-per-view prices, which started the initial outrage once everyone found out this is not going to be a pay-per-view.
And that's what I was hearing about. Yeah, that I heard it was price points were a thing because of the type of show that it actually was. It was a TV product as opposed to a special PLE or whatever.
We talked about that on this show. We talked about that. Go back to the previous episode and listen to us talk about that. But we talked about the fact that fans didn't know. They were on social media complaining about the fact that we paid for these tickets and we thought that there was a pay-per-view because it was pay-per-view prices versus just a regular Dynamite or Collision ticket, and people were fucking pissed, man. And I would have been pissed too. Like, what am I paying for? But that's the problem. AEW does these special events with when it's Dynamite, like a regular Dynamite show, but they call it something else. Or you have the Collisions when they call it something else, like Grand Slam. People get really fucking confused because you're not marketing this right, man. I don't know who your marketing guy is, but they fucking suck. Like, their team is terrible.
Hire me. Hire
the Tony Khan. He's doing all his own marketing. Here's the thing, though. They pre-recorded this. For those that didn't know, spoiler alert, they pre-recorded it. Because what are you going to do? Have your workers sit there in Australia and wait for the All-Star game to end in the U.S.? So they pre-recorded. Then what they had to do was, before it could air here, you had to get through all the all-star stuff that was going on the other night. Now, where that becomes a problem is if you DVR anything, you know that the DVR isn't always smart enough to go, oh, this thing got delayed. I need to run over to pick up the rest of this show that they were DVRing. Yeah. So for a lot of people here in the U.S. that watched it on their DVR, they didn't DVR the show after Grand Slam. So they missed the main event. If you watched it on on Max, you got to watch the whole thing because it just aired. There was no issue there. Or if you watched it, if you were glued to your TV for the All-Star and then sat there through Grand Slam. Now, I'm going to be honest with everybody. My weekend was not an easy weekend because my week was so busy last week. I slept through most of Vengeance Day, woke up from my nap, went out and watched the end of it. Fell back to sleep in here before Grand Slam started, went back out there and got to see the main event only. So I didn't see a lot of it. What I did see, the wrestling was good, but the production value was about the same as an exploding ring.
Yeah.
And you guys talk about me. What?
Cue it. Play the cue.
Yes, but I worked 60 hours trying to fix a server that died.
60 hours to fix a server. What's going on?
I got three words for you. Welcome to delicious.
Oh, yeah.
Oh.
I got 3 words for you. Coke bottle glasses.
All right, let's move on.
I'm sorry, that was terrible timing. I apologize for that.
let's move on and continue talking about Grand Slam because there's more controversy to talk about. It gave us fans plenty to talk about, but one unexpected controversy centered around the size of the ring. Instead of using their standard setup, AEW opted for a smaller 18-foot ring, a decision that fans felt like they were scratching their heads, and QT Marshall isn't having the complaints at all. Combat sports writer Steven Muehlhausen, I believe that's how you pronounce his name, he was the first to comment on the size of the ring, tweeting, quote, "Why wouldn't you have your own ring? End quote. Another user, Masked J, speculated that the cost of shipping AEW's ring was just too high, saying, quote, "The cost of shipping the ring was more than just getting one loaned, I assumed," end quote. So QT Marshall took to Twitter to defend AEW's decision, explaining that AEW's 20-foot ring is a unique design and most promotions don't have rings that size readily available. He also pointed out that the 18-foot ring AEW used is standard for companies like TNA or older ROH, questioning why fans were making such a big deal about it. Even Jeff Jarrett is coming to AEW's defense. But Buddy Matthews was not quiet about the ring situation either, and he took his frustrations out to X, formerly known as Twitter, deleted it, though, 45 minutes later. But thanks to the wonderful Ramblers technology, we were able to get the tweet. And here's what he said, and I quote, "So thoughts after AEW Grand Slam Australia. If it wasn't a 16 by 16 shit wrestling ring," he wrote, quote, "1, wouldn't have destroyed my ankle on my entrance due to holes in the padding. 2, Okada wouldn't have been able to put his foot on the rope and I'd be champion. Shit happens," end quote. AEW hasn't really addressed the situation, but I wonder if it was a moment of frustration or maybe Buddy is just letting some of the behind the scenes issue bleed out over social media. Now, I want to turn to Max because I specifically want to get a better point of this ring. Okay. So they said that AEW typically uses a 20-foot ring. That's a unique design, but they opted out by using an 18-foot ring. That is a bit of a jump. Am I right?
I mean, you're talking you're talking a big jump there. But I had heard 16 feet.
Was it 16 feet?
No, it was 18.
Yeah.
See, I'm the kind of wrestling fan. When this stuff started getting, when I started seeing the discussion on this, I was like, I guess I'm just the kind of fan that I didn't notice it. Like, I think I would have noticed it if it was like, you know, a smaller indie 16-footer as opposed to 20. That's a big jump. I didn't notice the size of the ring. I was paying attention to the wrestling, the entrances, the crowd. I don't know. I'm like, who are these people that are like, that's the wrong size ring?
Who brought out the fucking measuring tape? Huh? Who figured this out?
What is this world coming to? I mean, did they have cotton candy at the event? Did they have burgers and beer and what the hell?
I want to show this ring. By the way, that was beautiful. Thank you.
Facts, though.
I want to show this ring if I can get a good enough picture. This is going to come from WrestlingNewsSource.com, and I want to share this specifically because this is what we're talking about. All right, let me go here and click here and go here. So this is from a guy who was there, somebody who was there, posted by Ben on what would have been the 16th because they're always a day ahead in Australia. But this is the size of the ring that they're talking about. Okay. Now,
and you can see a difference.
Oh, you can between the barricade and the ring. However, we're forgetting one thing here. They traveled 17 hours from the United States to Australia. Maybe this was the only option that they were able to do.
But isn't there another promotion in Australia that would have had a bigger ring that they could have fucking borrowed?
I have no idea, actually.
Well, exactly.
Name a promotion from Australia, because 90% of Australia wrestling is from the United States.
I don't know any fucking promotions in Australia.
Exactly, that's the thing, though. Like, outside of WWE and AEW going over there, there's not really any other promotion to really do anything. I don't think
there's got to be promotions somewhere near Australia that they could have brought a ring over, a bigger ring.
Alexa, what promotion is in Australia? I don't fucking know.
Now you're gonna you know it off right now.
Did I hit my bad?
Like all the Alexas that people are watching, just
good. Mine's in the other room, so
I want to show you from the Grand Slam ring to a Dynamite ring. I want to show you the differences. And we're going to do this right here. So we remember what the ring looked like at Grand Slam. This is what the ring looks like for something like Dynamite. Or see how much bigger it is. I mean, it's not a good comparison because of what the angle that we had for Grand Slam, but you can see how much bigger the ring
that I will say is noticeable. I didn't notice it while I was watching live for whatever reason, but now that you're like showing the pictures, yeah, I noticed it.
Yeah, I didn't notice it either until I seen it on social media, and I'm like, God damn, yeah, that's a big difference.
And World Series Wrestling, by the way, I suppose that is.
What the hell is World Series Wrestling?
They put on like a handful of shows a year, I believe.
Okay.
So and here's the thing. So it was reported online that it was 16 by 16, and then that was pointed out to be false. It wasn't 18 by 18. But here's the thing. If you have ever set foot in a wrestling ring, you're used to how many steps it is from rope to rope, from corner to corner. And when you're running back and forth in the ring, or you're trying to judge the distance when you're slamming your opponent, 2 feet is a big deal. It may not seem like it, but once you compare those pictures, you see that there is a significant difference, and it feels more of that difference. You feel more of that difference when you're in there, and to go from a standard ring to an 18 by 18 with no time to prep yourself could be a dangerous thing.
Are we talking about this size of ring? I think this is the actual sized ring that they used for Grand Slam.
Oh my God, it's John Cena.
Don't mind the product. Don't mind the product placement and all that. I believe that's the size of the ring. But I think if I'm not mistaken, that is Copeland or Cope. I think that's Edge right there. So I mean that's
with
current.
black pants though.
That's right now.
I have to question that one.
Yeah, I know. But I mean that at least that's current. But by the way, thank you to CM Styles for sending us that. Appreciate it.
It was definitely noticeable though after the fact. At the time, I thought maybe they just had the barriers in the ring separated. It depends on what you own and whatever the case may be. Like I'm not sticking up for AEW by any chances, but there's only two promotions that actually run a 20x20 ring, and that's WWE and AEW. So I just looked it up.
Quick AEW side note.
How big is before
16 by 16 is the typical outside of the main promotions.
I'm curious about TNA though, J-Bone.
Oh, you know what? I don't even know. Like I know their ring has
18 by 18.
20 feet on each side. A typical TNA ring measures around 20 feet each side.
Okay. And I think it does depend on the venue. Some venues that they had, used typically in the past are smaller than others. But I think with them using these smaller arenas, they're definitely going to be using, a regular professional size ring, 20 foot or whatever.
I just looked it up, 18 by 18. I mean, but is there really that big of a difference when it comes to wrestling, though, Max?
I mean, you have 2 feet less to go from rope to rope. And if you don't get time ahead of time to acclimate yourself to that, it could be a significant difference. Yes. Yeah. But for the record, I did check the 6-sider, and the 6-sided ring was 18 by 18. Although, considering it's 6 sides instead of 4, giving me 2 measurements seems weird.
Yeah, I was not a fan of the 6-sided ring.
I love that shit. It made it so different than any other wrestling promotion.
It did differentiate it between,
and it made the X Division. The X Division thrived off that 6-sided ring.
They did.
Listen, 6-sided ring, 4-sided ring, put 2 4-sided together and get 8. Doesn't matter. The one thing you have to keep in mind is that the best thing to ever happen in a ring is Samoa Joe walking away as someone is jumping off the top rope at him.
Yes, right.
Now, listen, I got a question for you real quick. Tony Khan related. Do you think that in his pre-show warm-ups, he's sitting in that mirror in the back going, stand back, there's a hurricane coming.
Oh, my God.
I'm dead.
Yes, I do.
Or is it stand back? There's a TK coming.
I think he does the Joe Hendry theme, but puts in his own name.
Say his name and he appears. I believe in Tony Khan. I believe in Tony Khan.
Gotta get Steph.
I believe in my Coke dealer.
I believe in Andrade, whatever his name is.
My Coke dealer said she who must not be named is the greatest wrestler of all time, so I gave her 4 belts.
God. All right, let's talk.
I will say this is probably the most unpopular opinion that's going to be on the show this current episode.
Oh, baby.
But I will say this. I actually really liked Monet's match with Harley Cameron. Is that her name? Yeah. I thought the whole match was actually really good.
Who carried that match? You gotta ask.
I don't know. I just know I enjoyed it. I felt like Mercedes definitely held up her I didn't agree with the finish because it it's one of those things where it happens so fast and you're like, what the hell? But that's a heelish thing to happen.
I need to go back and watch the match.
Yeah, let's just throw it out there real quick though.
The Tony Storm match was better, but
Monet is not a bad wrestler.
Right.
If you go back to her early, no. You can never discredit her and Bailey, whether it was on NXT or in the main roster. You cannot. You could say Bailey carried her, whatever the case may be, but nah, it's not the case. If you go back and watch that match, she did not carry her in that match. That was an even match between the two of them. She's had great matches, but the care of now compared to then is totally different.
Well, yes, and that's what I was going to say. Yeah. Look at where she was trained. Yeah. She was, when she was in NXT, she was being trained the right way. Now that she's in AEW, who the fuck knows? She probably isn't even showing up because she thinks that she's the greatest wrestler of all time. And she's really
she's hanging out with her cousin Snoop.
Well, I guarantee NJPW did not let her be lazy when she worked there, and NXT, WWE, they did not let her be lazy. Khan does.
Yeah.
Her product has slacked. Listen, you can say that she put on good matches, and I'll agree with that, but I don't think she was highly talented. I think she was passable back then. And now that she's gotten lazy, she's not even passable, in my opinion.
Yeah. There's another guy that every time he comes into the ring, he does put on pretty good matches, and that's Orange Cassidy. And he's been noticeably absent from AEW television in recent weeks, leaving fans wondering about his status. Now, the mystery has been solved. Sean Ross Sapp provided an update during Fightful Select's Q&A podcast, revealing that Cassidy was simply taking some time off. His absence had sparked some speculation, especially as AEW continues to navigate changes in venue sizes, ticket sales, and or whatever other drama they have going on behind the scenes. However, it appears that there was no major reason behind his time away, just a much-needed break before jumping back into the mix. Before his break, though, Cassidy had addressed AEW's critics in an interview with Bill Apter of Sportskeeda Wrestling, pushing back against negativity surrounding the company. He said, quote, I mean, I could say, why do you care? If you want AEW to fail, then fine. I just don't understand why you feel the need to say it out loud. We're a very young company. We've only been around for 5 years, and we've grown exponentially fast, gaining traction early on thanks to Tony Khan. When he does return, apparently he's coming back for that AEW International title in a series where he'll face Roderick Strong. But my question to you guys and to the fans, I want you to comment on in the chat. Do you think Orange is right? Do you think that they've grown exponentially fast thanks to Tony Khan? Do you think that there are people out there that want AEW to fail? I'd like to start with the Baron, if we could.
I mean, of course, people want them to fail 100%. Have they grown faster than other promotions? 100%. Most promotions also don't have a multi-billion trillionaire as their father and as them to promote that. That's simple as that. And I will not even argue that because that's a fucking fact. However, we clearly never want any promotion to ever fail whatsoever. We want them to thrive. We talk about it week to week. We want good storylines. And they put on great matches. The storyline thing, they have to fucking nail down. And it could be a perfect show, and it could be competition to WWE down the road if they did. Of course, there's going to be people out there who want them to fail, just like they want WWE to fail. That's just the wrestling community. Simple as that,
Right.
They were competition to WWE though when Cody Rhodes was over there.
They've never been a competition to WWE.
No.
WWE competes with Monday Night or football and other entertainment aspects. That's just what they are. AEW has not even been close to any of their ratings. Simple as that. Not even close.
When Cody Rhodes when he made the jump, he had so many former WWE stars over on AEW that people were focused on AEW more than they were on Monday Night Raw because of Vince McMahon. And I'll take that to my grave. Max, what are your thoughts, man?
Well, real quick though, they were definitely over there to, see what was happening. Were they ever on the same page even when Vince was around? No. Let's be real here.
Now I'm going to defend both perspectives on this.
God damn it,
they
Max.
were hold on.
Oh,
they were more competitive back in the early days when Cody was around, and they were actually before we ever saw much of Tony Khan, when it was the EVPs were what we thought was running the show back then. They were slightly more competitive. They were never true competition because they never achieved that level before Tony Khan crashed them. And Vince actually said this on an episode of Broken Skulls. The fact of the matter is that everything is competition for the WWE. Doesn't matter what it is. And it's the same way for AEW and TNA and NJPW. Everything is competition for everything. Why? Because not everybody's going to want to tune in to watch Raw when it's on. Maybe they want to tune in and watch NCIS on CBS or one of the other shows on ABC, NBC, something like that. So honestly, if you think about it, everything is competing against everything else on a given night. It's all competition. However, when you put AEW up against WWE, that didn't go well for AEW. And that's why the schedule got changed. As far as actively rooting for anybody to fail, I don't like Tony Khan. I don't like some of the decisions that he's made. I think he needs to learn how to put together a good wrestling show before he continues doing what's going to kill the business. But that doesn't mean I want AEW to fail. We had this conversation several years ago with TNA, and I didn't want TNA to fail. I just wanted Dixie to do better, to be better. I wanted her to give the workers the powers that be that the workers deserved. And the problem was I don't think she was that powers that be. That's why she is no longer there. At some point, you have to make Tony Khan step aside. You have to remove him from being in charge, or get through that thick skull that is even thicker because of cocaine and get him to go learn how to do what he is trying to do every week with no natural ability.
I'm really glad that you said something. You compared what AEW is facing now to what TNA faced when Dixie Carter and Hulk Hogan and Jeff Jarrett faced when they were in TNA, and Bischoff too. I mean, okay, when Bischoff was in TNA, it was okay. It wasn't WCW. It was all right. When Dixie Carter was in TNA, holy fuck, it was bad. And I know I'm probably going to get some criticism on that, but damn, it was just
line them up, chat. Line them up, baby.
God, dude, it was bad. And then you brought Hulk Hogan into the mix. It was just terrible. Now that Anthem owns TNA and Scott D'Amore came along and was in charge of the show, TNA actually became watchable. And I want J-Bone to am I right with that piece of criticism? Is what we're watching with AEW now what we watched a long time ago with TNA?
That's tough, it's somewhat yes and somewhat no. I mean, today's audience is so much different in general, but yeah, but both companies had and or are having growing pains at times. You got some success, it's all going to be a roller coaster. There was a point where AEW seemed like it was like the hottest thing, but it was also during a time where WWE was just barely scraping by because Vinnie Mac was still behind the wheel, and he's like, we don't have competition, so I'm just going to put whatever out and everyone can kiss my ass. And then so TNA had their times when they were as hot as a roaring fire on a cold winter's night, I know some people are like, oh, Bischoff and Hogan destroyed the company. I wouldn't say that. Was it perfect? No, absolutely not. But I think a lot of people forget some of the good things that happened during that time. It wasn't all bad, but it wasn't, there were some bad things that happened. But I wouldn't say Hogan destroyed the company by any means.
He didn't help it though.
He destroyed it 100%. He got rid of the 6-sided ring. Like he absolutely destroyed.
Well,
TNA.
that was because the tides were changing. They were getting influx of a whole new crop of people in the company, and there was a lot of people that liked the 6-side because of how. I mean, did it look awesome with the X division? Absolutely. Was it a lot more difficult to work with? A majority of the people are going to say yes. So
I think
it's different than compared to what they're used to. I will like to point back real quick, and I could be wrong. Somebody please correct me. But during AEW's height, like in 2019 to like 2021, right?
Yeah.
Did they have fans in attendance? I'm asking because this is COVID era. WWE did not have fans in attendance.
No, they did not. No, they had wrestlers around.
WWE did, but I'm not sure about AEW.
No, the AEW had wrestlers in the stands, I believe. Like they had them at ringside or at the apron, or not the apron, but at definitely at ringside by the barrier.
I'll have to do a little bit more research. I don't remember.
It started out normal, but then the pandemic started, and
they didn't actually have fans at the barrier. Those were AEW people that weren't booked for the night.
Yeah, that's what I meant.
I know this,
but they had the very first wave of people come into their events compared to WWE.
The reason I know this is because a guy that I've worked with for years, Rob Risen, who's done NXT episodes, some AEW Dark. He's had a huge history with Matt Hardy. He was one of those people that was right there at ringside, and he was constantly tweeting us and saying, "Hey guys, check me out tonight."
Yeah. So I don't know. I'm very interested in seeing the similarities between AEW now versus what we saw with TNA back in the day. And it's to me, it's very fucking similar. But the good news is TNA is very much building up their reputation as a solid promotion. And let's move over to some TNA news, because just when it seemed like Elijah, formerly known as Elias in WWE, was on his way to AEW or Ring of Honor, a new twist has emerged as he might be actually heading to TNA. Now, despite appearing alongside the Righteous, Dutch, and Vincent at the ROH tapings at the Jericho Cruise, Dave Meltzer has now retracted his initial report, clarifying on the February 14th Wrestling Observer newsletter that Elijah has not signed with All Elite Wrestling. Now, according to Sean Ross Sapp on the Fightful Select Q&A podcast, Elijah is currently being courted by TNA Wrestling, and this throws a big wrench in the idea that Elijah was locked in with AEW. His cryptic debut video with the Righteous hinted at a full-blown transformation from his WWE persona, featuring eerie narration and closing with the question, who wants to run with the Righteous Ones? While this led many to believe he was just part of Tony Khan's long-term plans, it now seems that his future could be elsewhere. TNA has been making aggressive moves to build its roster and bringing in big names and surprise debuts over the past year. And if Elijah does end up signing with TNA, it could give him the creative freedom and a fresh start that fans have been waiting to see since his WWE release. So, J-Bone, do you think Elias could show up in TNA wrestling? Is there a possibility?
I've actually clamored for it since he's been released a few years ago, whatever it's been. I was a big fan of his in the WWE.
Me too.
I loved his I loved his character. I love his guitar playing, and I especially liked his wrestling because I felt like he was kind of a throwback. He reminded me the wrestling style of kind of like Randy Savage. I'm not saying exact, but his elbow off the top rope always reminded me of Savage.
Could you imagine if this is true and Elias does come to TNA, the feud that Elias and Joe Hendry could have?
Oh, just
with the guitars and the promos that they could cut. Oh my God.
Yeah, that would be a lot of fun. That definitely would be a lot of fun. You could, you get some rival songs going viral.
Oh my God, they could go viral. They could definitely go viral.
Yeah. And for those of you that don't remember how good Elias's guitar playing was, there was one episode, and I don't remember how long ago it was, but he was, he did the same thing as Hendry did. He would do like a parody, play like an actual song, and then put his own lyrics in regarding the town or rival he was going against.
Right.
He did a classic Alice in Chains. What the hell song was it? Nutshell, I think it is. And it's just a great acoustic ballad.
Yeah.
Kind of doomy, but he'd be singing along, singing his own stuff to it while playing the Alice in Chains. And man, I saw so many people were like, whoa, this is good. It's like the guy's talent. I would love to see it.
And I've always been a big fan of Elias. When he was in WWE, I actually enjoyed watching him in the ring. I enjoyed his promos that he cut. And when he left, I was kind of sad, man. Honestly, I mean, I want to see Elias back in the WWE or the TNA or whatever promotion he decides to go to. I honestly think I think he needs to go to TNA, because if he goes to TNA, they're going to book him right. If he goes to AEW, they're not going to book him right. He's going to get overshadowed, much like all the other stars that have come up on AEW programming. And I just hope that Elias does end up in TNA, because it would be nice to see him there.
Yeah. Elijah, whatever the artist formerly known as Elias.
Yeah, Elijah, whatever he wants to go by. It would be really fun to see him come to TNA. Another person, J-Bone, that has returned and signed a full-time contract with TNA, Mackenzie Mitchell. She was, of course, rising through the ranks as one of TNA's, NXT's top broadcasters, and leaving her future in wrestling uncertain when she was part of the corporate layoff. Now, Mitchell is making a major comeback right where her career started. After a surprise TNA appearance as the ring announcer for Genesis in January, Mitchell has officially signed with TNA's permanent ring announcer, replacing Jade Chung. So, speaking with the takedown on SI, Mitchell opened up about her unexpected WWE release and how it led her back to TNA. And here's what she said, and I quote, "My release came at a very unexpected time. It was very much apparent that we didn't know what was happening. It was a surprise to everyone, my family, my friends, I think peers, but it helps you grow. It helps you learn and to kind of go, what's next?" End quote. So Mitchell has been studying some of the best ring announcers in the business, including the GOATs, Lillian Garcia, Christy Hemme, and she's also been kind of watching Alicia Taylor too. She also worked house shows during her NXT tenure, but stepped into this role full time. She says is an entirely different challenge. And you know what, J-Bone, that's all great. I'm glad that she's studying the GOAT, Lillian Garcia, and even Christy Hemme too. I love Christy Hemme on the mic. But for the love of God, please stay the fuck away from Samantha Irvin. For the love of
That's your favorite.
No.
Why? That's your favorite. What?
No.
I'm surprised you don't talk much more about the what's the girl that's on TV now that took Samantha's place?
Isn't that Alicia Taylor?
Is that who that is? Okay, I didn't know her name. But I'm like,
Taylor.
oh my god, she's 10 times as obnoxious.
I know.
As Samantha is.
I know. I'm right there with you. But
so if I'm gonna have someone like, not every match needs to sound like this, like your brain is gonna have an aneurysm. No, stop. Just not every match. Have some charisma, have some oomph, but damn, not everyone needs to like hear you 10 cities away. Mackenzie Mitchell, she's got a nice voice. She doesn't have a lot of what's the word I'm looking for? Projection in her voice. And I think she needs to work on that just a little. And she doesn't need a ton, just a little kind of, just a little oomph, but she's got a good voice. So yeah,
she's apparently working with, she's got a vocal coach from with the other stuff that I read. She's got a vocal coach. And when she was doing commentary and ring announcing, they're two completely different things. But I think she'll get it. I mean, I think it's a hard job to do. Ring announcing is not as easy as you think it is. I mean, somebody. Oh God! Oh yes, Bubba.
you gotta be flawless.
Okay.
What did Bubba do?
So we went to
great times.
Oh,
not to cut you off.
Fantastic. It was great. But we went to a promotion. I think it was Alton Invades Wrestling or Wrestling Invades Alton.
Something local, yeah.
Something local. And we were there to cover one of the shows. And I don't know how it got brought up, but Bubba apparently was invited to the ring or went to the ring, had a microphone.
A live mic?
Uh-huh. And he tried to get into the ring. Couldn't get it. He almost fell flat on his face. Poor guy.
Oh, damn.
And his ring announcing, I mean, okay, it was his debut as a ring announcer. No, he didn't do good. But it was his debut. What
it was his debut. Not to knock Bubba. I mean, like that was
not at all.
Bubba ring announced the entire night.
Mm-hmm.
Me and Dizzy were on commentary. I don't even remember what the fuck we were saying.
People were pissed off because I was trying to be JR. Oh my God.
It was good times. It was good.
Oh, yeah.
It was a good moment in our history. And Bubba did great, despite almost falling a couple times. That's why I had to bring it up. Love you, Bubba.
We love you, Bubba. We miss you, buddy. We hope you're well. So don't ever think that grabbing a microphone, trying to cut a promo, or even ring announcing or even commentary is fucking hard, or it's easy. It's super fucking hard.
Yeah.
Super fucking hard. And if you ever want to talk wrestling, talk to that guy right there, my best friend, because he knows damn well that ring announcing, that commentary, that anything that has to do with wrestling, even putting together the fucking ring, is not fun.
Yeah.
Not fun at all.
And putting together, taking apart the ring, so physically laborious, you would rather wrestle them full match than do the ring.
That ring is not light. Not at all. But guys, that's the show. We had a lot of fun tonight. And
I
always.
want to bring up one thing real quick.
Go ahead.
I'm hearing these things, and this is TNA related.
Mm-hmm.
I'm hearing these things that there is a what do you call that when you got two companies trying to like pay a high? Oh, there's like a bidding war. That's it. A bidding war for one Josh Alexander.
Oh, who are the companies?
Well, it's AEW and WWE.
Oh, Jesus.
And I think a lot of people assumed that he was going to go to WWE if they wanted him. But now I'm starting to hear these little, and this could just be those old interwebs going at it again and just serving up all sorts of piles of bukkake,
But that was broke by Dave Meltzer, right?
Something. I don't even know. I think I saw
J-Bone, take what you hear from Uncle Dave with a grain of salt.
Yeah. I would not. I mean, I wish him success for wherever he goes. And if he decides that AEW is a better option for he and his family, because I've talked about this before, these guys, you they can go wherever you want them to go. Doesn't mean it's their best option. Stick them on the road for every few shows and take time off for your family. The guy's married and he has kids, and if he can get a better deal through PK, then what are you going? How are you going to argue with the guy? Josh is going to know what's best for his family, so I'll watch him wherever. Honestly, I think as much as I want, damn it, I'm going to kind of go against how I was initially thinking this, but look, I'll watch him wherever he goes. If you want to talk about the company that actually needs him more, I'm actually going to go with AEW because they need more fresh talent to create stars, and AEW's got a crap ton of talent. WWE already has so many future stars that they have in their midst. So I don't know. What do you guys think?
I think I know where, when it comes to AEW on tour non-live events versus WWE, if you're looking for your to be with your family long term during that period, that might be the best bet. However, I want to say I think WWE has cut their live events down by a large amount.
Yeah.
Yeah, they used to go every day.
Yeah, and I'm pretty sure they're probably paying just as good as AEW. But when it comes to a star like that, I think, just like you said, I think AEW would be a no-brainer.
I think it goes to how the wrestler or how the talent wants to be led, where he thinks that the company is going to lead him. Meaning this, if he goes to AEW, we know that Tony Khan is super lax. We know that he is just like, oh, do what you want. You can come up with your own creative. You can bring it to us. And, if we need to change anything, we will. And definitely, I guess they do because, it's Tony fucking Khan. So you can say that if he goes to AEW, he will have a lax schedule because he'll get to do whatever he wants. I mean, look at Mercedes Moné. Look at the other guy that I can't, Will Ospreay, so he will definitely have that luxury if he goes to AEW. Will he get booked right? No. Will he be able to be a top star in AEW if he is not consistently booked? No, he won't. He'll just be another person to sink in the black abyss that is the rest of the roster on AEW. Unless he decides to go to WWE, where it's a little more structured and it's a little more, okay, this is a full-time job. We're going to give you time off, but this is a full-time job. and you need to come here. I mean, think about us. We have full-time jobs, and if we were on their schedule, would we have time to see our families as much as we want to? Probably not. Probably not. But what's going to give Josh Alexander more structure? Is it going to be with AEW or is it going to be with WWE? Personally, I think it's going to be with WWE, and I think that's where he needs to go. Should he maybe start on the NXT roster? Yeah, I think he should if he's going to jump ship to WWE.
Oh, yeah, and he's going to have people, and not that Josh Alexander is a bad promo.
No, I'm not saying that. I'm not saying that, but look at Jordan Grace. I mean, she was in TNA for years, and she's now just starting in WWE, but she's on NXT. And I'm not saying that NXT is that a bad brand for her to start on. It's it's definitely developmental. And if you want to be on the main roster, you have to start at NXT. You have to, and you have to kind of get the
majority of the time. Yeah.
Well, yeah, but you also have to get the culture of WWE. You have to understand what their ways of doing stuff.
Right.
You have to. Yeah, I mean, it's just a learning curve with NXT before you jump ship to either SmackDown or TNA or Raw.
And the fact that they put I'll say ring veteran. I mean, and she's been around the longest. No, but as far as someone with ring experience and life experiences, in wrestling, she is absolutely going to be able to help that current crop of NXT, including I think putting her in the mix with the international stars like Julia and that
Vaquer.
What's her name?
Stephanie Vaquer.
Yeah, Stephanie Vaquer. Thank you. Which, by the way, just to backtrack a hair for a second, in my own personal podcasting opinion, Stephanie Vaquer and I believe it was Henley had, in my opinion, the best match of Vengeance Day. That started the show, and nothing was quite as good as that. I felt they just killed it.
They're pushing Stephanie to the moon. Like, she won that title, and then later on went out. She's going to be a star, 100%.
Yeah, she's gonna wind up on the main roster, and I mean you have to look at how long she's been with.
She's really good
with NXT, Max. I mean, she is super good, and that's exactly what you need to do when you come from a company like TNA, even though that they have a partnership with the WWE, and I think this is why they have a partnership with WWE, is so that they can send their talent to NXT so that they can learn about their culture and figure out, okay, this is how we do things over here. And I think it would be best, and we're jumping back to Josh Alexander for a second, because he's the main topic. Where's he going to go? I personally think it would be best for Josh to sign with NXT, learn the culture, stay with NXT for however long you need to, and then jump ship, make your choice if you're going to SmackDown or you're going to Raw. Max, am I on the right track with that?
I will always try to choose NXT and Raw and SmackDown over going to work for Tony Khan. Here's the thing. J-Bone's right. AEW needs Josh Alexander. The thing is, though, will AEW use him right? I don't think they will. I mean, it may look good in the beginning, like Ricochet's debut looked great.
Yep.
But I mean, it's kind of fall apart if it hasn't already. Now,
Hurt Syndicate too.
What's that? Hurt Syndicate too. Yeah. Now, will the WWE utilize Josh Alexander correctly? I don't know. I can't say for sure, but I will say that I think there's a better chance that WWE utilizes him correctly than AEW does. Yep. AEW needs him, but they don't have the wherewithal to do it right.
But then it all comes down to money. it all comes down to who's going to pay him more. If it's going to be Tony Khan because his daddy is rich, or if it's going to be WWE, where again it's all structured.
Yes,
Always take the money route, folks.
But
whoever's listening,
but
passion is beautiful, but at the end of the day, money is going to get you through.
Baron, remember this though, when Jordan Grace came to NXT over TNA, she actually took a pay cut, and I think that's because she loves this business. She wants to be here.
Yeah, she loves the business, which I understand. However, she's a fast track to the main roster, easily said. She's going to make more money on that main roster than she ever made on TNA.
But so is Josh Alexander, though. Josh Alexander is on that fast track to be one of the main
I'm not like 100% convinced. I don't watch TNA quite as much as like J Bone and the fans here.
Yeah.
However, I feel like he's an Eric Young, in my personal opinion. But anybody in this stage and age that's not going to NXT is not doing it right, because there's one person behind the realm of NXT, and that's Shawn Michaels. And there's nobody else to learn from than him. He is one of the greatest of all times. And there's nobody can argue that.
Yeah, absolutely.
The greatest mind, greatest in-ring ability, bar none. So
that's why he's head of NXT now.
Yeah.
So
anybody going to NXT in this point of juncture is going to succeed, because he's going to bring them to that level. So Josh Alexander should 100% go there.
Yeah, I totally agree. Totally agree.
And you also have the veteran status of people, coming in like not that Bailey would help Josh Alexander, but I'm just off the top of my head who's doing a current storyline.
I don't
Bailey.
I don't see how Bailey couldn't help him.
Well, no, I'm just saying, you typically, I'm just thinking in the realm of, no, I'm not trying to be sexist here, but it's someone like Shawn Michaels is going to help Josh Alexander, and someone like Bailey would help Jordan Grace. I'm just thinking along that line.
No, 100%. You're right. And that's why it's so crucial to get into NXT, spend a little time there, move up to the main roster.
Right.
I think that's the best bet. There's nobody else that's going to train the wrestlers on that show better than Shawn Michaels. There's nobody.
That worked out really well for Duke Hudson, by the way. I was going to point out.
Who exactly? Yeah, this was just one of those things where he just didn't. Well, number one, I never understood Chase U or thought it was like a top thing in NXT, so that right there is a gamble. But if you're not the top guy in Chase U and you're kind of like one of the guys in the background, that ain't gonna help you.
You got to understand too, not everything is going to go over as well as the next gimmick.
Yeah.
So Josh Alexander could come to NXT and fall completely flat on his face. He could not. He could not. He could flourish. I think it's just whatever gimmick you come up with, however you decide to book yourself, or however you decide to listen to the other people booking you. I think it's just I think that's what it is, and it also depends on if you want to sink or swim. It's up to you, man. I mean, if you want to go into NXT with your head held high and you say, I'm going to succeed in this fucking business, I'm going to be on the main roster, like a lot of the wrestlers that have come in and said, I want to be on Raw or I want to be on SmackDown, they're on Raw or SmackDown right now. But the wrestlers that have, that want to be, work a lax schedule, they go to AEW and they go there to die. Their careers go there to suffer, and I think that's another problem with guys like Enzo Amore.
Poor Cole.
Oh yeah. If we're bringing up, wrestlers who have had successful careers, and I think Enzo is a big, good topic to bring up, because he was so fucking over in the
Which is
WWE.
ridiculous. Yeah.
He and Big Cass were absolutely over in the WWE, and then he shot himself in the foot. And now he's working little small indie shows because of his ego. And I think
it
was
sexual harassment.
Well, it was that. I mean, but that's egotistical. That's part of egotistical, you know. But he had the world in his hands, and he let it. His head grew too big, and he thought that he was indestructible. And come to find out, guess what? No, you're not. And I think it's just the mindset of how you go in there and how you want to carry yourself versus, you know, if you just want to have a lax schedule and go to the likes of AEW and go there to die.
I think with I don't want to say a merger, but partnership between TNA and NXT, anybody on that TNA roster who has been there for quite some time, there's no other pathway other than NXT. That's at the end of the day, WWE is the premier wrestling promotion on earth. There's nobody else that's on their level. There's nobody else that's going to be on their level.
Yeah.
In our lifetime. So that is the best pathway. And whatever work you need done, there's a guy holding NXT down, that is Shawn Michaels, that is the fucking king of all of it. So go there.
Yeah.
Work your way up.
WWE will and for always ever be the juggernaut of professional wrestling. And that, like we've said it before, man, I mean, WWE is our Disney. You know, that is our Disney. He is, I mean, Vince McMahon was our Walt Disney at one time. Now it's Triple H. Thank God.
Now let's cryogenically freeze Vince and get it over with.
Yes, exactly. Maybe not stick him next to Walt, but you know.
Yeah. You know, if you actually go looking online, you can sometimes find the salaries of the people that work for various wrestling companies. And if you look at the AEW list, it's not all that surprising. The EVPs are up near the top, Moxley, Hangman. But surprisingly, the top salary in the company is Tony Khan's personal coke dealer.
Well, I mean, he is keeping him employed very well, you know.
Yeah.
Ladies and gentlemen, that is the show for this week, and we thank you so much for tuning in every single week, every single Tuesday that we do this. We're up to 224 subscribers, and that is what tells us that you like what we're doing. So please subscribe to the channel. That tells YouTube that you like what we're doing, and that recommends our videos to other users so that they can subscribe, and tell your friends about us too. And we appreciate you listening. This is why we do it. We do it for you. And that's why we're here every single Tuesday night, just gabbing and blabbing about professional wrestling, because of what we love, and we know you love it too. So with that being said, how can they follow us, guys? We'll go with the Baron first.
You always go with me first because I don't have my fucking tag in the name. Okay, Disney, I see what you're doing here, bud.
Put it in your name.
Next time I get on, I will. Find me on Twitter, X, whatever you want to call it, at Scumbag Jordan with 3 N's.
3 N's. And next time I expect it in your tag.
I'm going to fucking have it in there.
Slacker. J-Bone.
You can follow me over on the old Twitter box at JBone5150. That's JAYBONE 5150. You can also follow me over on the other little show called Total Nonstop Impact, where we go live every Thursday talking everything TNA wrestling.
Yeah. And make sure you tune in to TNI, because they will give you more insight on TNA than what we can provide over here, because we cover the 3 big companies, TNA, AEW, and WWE, NXT. But if you definitely,
I would love to be on TNI one night after watching a major show and
Make
give
it
them
happen.
my fucking stupid ass opinion on that show and ruffling the feathers.
Make it happen, J-Bone. Make it happen.
I would never do that to you, J-Bone. You're my best friend. So I would never have that happen.
And yes, for any doubters out there, J-Bone will be on TNI this week.
That is if I stay awake through the live reaction.
Yeah,
good fucking point, J-Bone. Good fucking point.
It's getting harder and harder, folks. That's all I'm gonna say. Is damn. I love my TNA, but it's getting harder and harder, man. I need to find something. I don't know. I might have to get in touch with TK's guy on the road.
I wouldn't finish that.
I was trying to be careful in wording that. No, I'm not. I would never do something like that. I'll stick with the occasional rock star. That's about it.
So yeah, J-Bone, I think you should make that happen with the Baron. I think Baron needs to come on TNI.
I would love to have the Baron on, and I know that even if he had like alternative opinions of the product, I know he wouldn't do it in a shitty way either. That's why.
No, never.
No, never. No.
Nah, it's all out of love, and to be honest with you, I enjoy TNA more than I should.
If you put those two,
if that means anything to you,
together, would it have to be called T and High?
Oh my God, that's a great. I'm on the next show, T and I.
That's my best friend. Thank you. That's my best friend. Thank you.
I tell you what. I know I am going to be down a guy because Thursday is actually a live episode, and Bill is going to be down in Full Sail University. That's where the tapings are happening Thursday and Friday. Oh. So I'm going to be down a guy. I think Alicia's going to be on with me. I'm not positive. Sometimes it kind of depends on her work schedule too. Lately, she works very hard for what she does, and sometimes most of the time she can make it, but like last week she didn't. But yeah, so you're more than welcome. I don't want to
ruin your show with my negative outlook.
You wouldn't, dude. I wouldn't let you. I wouldn't if I didn't think it wasn't a good idea. I'd let you know. You stay in your lane, bro. No, I'm kidding. No, you're more than welcome.
Stay in your fucking lane, Baron. You piece of shit.
I think it's a brilliant idea, personally. But you two are best friends now. And I need to tell how my fans can follow my best friend, and that is the mighty Maximus Mages.
Before I do that, I just want to say this week on TNI, you can follow me for wrestling stuff at Max Mages, or for the Nerd Podcast, you can find me at Our Shots Podcast. We are also at random-shots.net for the show, or really anywhere you catch your podcasts except for YouTube. I'm still talking to the guys about that one.
Okay.
Get it going.
That could be something big for Random Shots, man. Definitely. And you can definitely follow the show on Facebook. Search for us, Ramblers Unleashed. You can find us on X at the Ramblers Pod, which is right down there. And please, again, subscribe to the channel. That tells YouTube that you like what we're doing, and that recommends our video to other users. And like our videos, and give us a comment. Leave a comment or two in the chat below, and we'd love to hear from you. And until next Tuesday, we will do it all over again. So please remember, no matter what it is, no matter what promotion it is, watch wrestling, love wrestling, enjoy wrestling, and we'll come back here on next Tuesday, and talk about it. Until then, take care, have a safe week, and see ya. Bye-bye.
Thanks for tuning in to Ramblers Unleashed. Follow the show on social media, subscribe to our YouTube channel, and click the bell icon for notifications of upcoming episodes.
Yeah, just turn on the damn wrestling.